Guys, they did the thing in Loki. They did the thing that we said that they were not going to do because it's a television show, and they did the thing. They did the thing. They did the thing in a different way, but it was still awesome. They did the thing. They did. Oh man. Oh, the rest of the Avengers are screwed now. Welcome back to Canon Cinema, everyone. I'm Amanda, otherwise known as AMXND Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Today, I will be reviewing episode 6, the finale of Loki. And the title of this episode was For All Time, Always. I don't even know where to start with this episode. It is the best finale out of all 3 MCU shows. If you have been following my Loki reviews, the first half of the season was really rocky for me. I wasn't really vibing it. But the second half, episodes 4, 5, and 6, all had great pacing. It was well written. There were really strong conversations had. You got into the characters a bit more. The development for Mobius, for Loki especially, has just been amazing. And this finale is everything that I hoped for. It's everything everyone wanted. But the beauty of it is the fact that we accurately got this finale right compared to the Mephisto that we had, compared to whoever we thought the power broker was. I know a lot of people thought it was going to be Kingpin, but we have the best villain reveal. But at the same time, it doesn't really put a damper on this reveal in the MCU in the future for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Yes, I'm doing spoilers today, so that's why I'm wearing my Ant-Man shirt as well as my Loki cap. You can find this hat specifically over on Instagram at StefanoBove_arts. He gifted this hat to me, and I'm just blessed that I know him and that I'm able to work with him. So he's amazing, but that's why I'm decked out like this. So let's get into this episode. Episode 6 started off with Sylvie and Loki going into that little realm that popped up after Alioth was enchanted. Now, again, the score elevated this. The camera work was fantastic. The direction, all of it going into this world was spot on. But the thing that really got me in this opening and gave me chills, and I knew that everything would change forever after this opening, the Marvel Studios logo was regular, but it didn't have the Avengers theme at all. It didn't have the Avengers theme. Instead, it had lines from specific characters, even from WandaVision, from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They really put everything together. They tied everything together. You had Captain Marvel lines, you had Iron Man lines, Captain America lines, everything. There were lines, important quotes from the Infinity Saga that were said in the beginning of this episode, and I lost it because you heard all of those lines and you saw the timeline and you heard those voices and you're like, is this their timeline? We have no idea what it is. So you open with that. It was very eerie. Right off the bat, I'm like, I feel so uneasy. I don't know who the hell's gonna pop up. And now the thing is, because we didn't get Mephisto in WandaVision, because we didn't get Kingpin in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, hypothetically, if that's what people were rooting for, our expectations for the finale, the bar was low. The bar was low. So we all kind of settled for, okay, it's going to be a Loki variant. It's going to be King Loki because, as I mentioned in my other reviews, the villains were always contained to that universe, to the story that they created on the television show. So we had our expectations lowered. It was very low going into episode 6. We knew not to get our hopes up this time. But holy shit. Thank God the other two shows lowered our expectations so we could just scream and yell and go crazy over this reveal. So Sylvie and Loki, they go into this abandoned castle at the end of this void, and we just feel it that something bad is going to happen. Something's going to happen in the Citadel. And I was just so invested in their every move. So they're walking up, they're going to the door, you know, Sylvie's feeling a bit uneasy. She's like, this is the person that, you know, screwed up my timeline, screwed up my life. And I don't care what, you know, happens. I have to kill this person. So I have to do it. So Loki's like, can you just relax, think it through, you know, I understand, I get it, but maybe he has some reason to why he made the TVA, all of this. So they keep having that same conversation throughout this episode as they're moving into the castle. So the castle doors open. We're like, oh, that's odd. Was this person expecting them? We don't know who it is. It could be another Loki. At that point, I still felt like there was another Loki coming. It was just going to be Loki. And then all of a sudden, you're creeping through and Miss Minutes pops by and you're like, oh my God, like jump scare. I did not expect Miss Minutes. I'm like, you shady little clock. Oh my God, you scared the crap out of me. Everyone else probably didn't expect that jump scare, but man, Miss Minutes just had a different feel to her entirely, because obviously she had to be the one linked to the TVA to Renslayer, to He Who Remains in that castle. So it was scary that she did that, but it was fun because we love Miss Minutes even more now because she's connected to He Who Remains. So it was just awesome to have that pop up. I did get scared, and Miss Minutes was shady, as I said from before. So it's really cool that she is working with him. So we move past that, and there's these elevator doors, and this is when you love Marvel, where they do the unexpected, and this was the unexpected. My jaw hit the floor. Like, I was just shook. That elevator door opened, and it is such a subtle reveal because of who he is, how you announced it, and how you incorporated him into Loki's universe. So the elevator doors open, and it is Jonathan freaking Majors, okay? Jonathan Majors, aka Kang the Conqueror. And I lost it. I have never been that impressed with a finale in my life. I've never been that impressed with a reveal in my life. That ended me. And Jonathan Majors, the second he came on screen, he owned that. He owned it. He completely owned it. He took a hold of the audience. He's like, you guys are mine now. You guys are mine. Forget about Loki and Sylvie. This is my show. I'm running it. And that's how he took the second half of episode 6 of Loki, because holy shiznit, I could watch him be Kang, this variant of Kang, for hours. He was absolutely incredible. He was funny without trying to be. He was also sinister at times. He really got the range of Kang, and I was just so invested the second he came on screen. I think he gave a fantastic performance in the little time that we had, and it's going to show his range when we get to see him in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So this version of Kang and presenting him as a variant was genius in Loki, because we got a history lesson. And I think that's really important. So I love the history lesson in Black Panther, with the different shapes forming and they're retelling the story. And I love that opening to Black Panther. I thought it was really special and magical. It feels like Kate Herron took what they did in Black Panther and kind of reinvented it to fit Kang and his history. Especially, we have that, and he has this gigantic plate / bracelet on his hand that can control his powers, basically. So he takes us through what the timelines mean, what the multiverse war means, what had happened in the past with the sacred timelines, and why Kang was trying to protect the sacred timeline instead of causing multiversal war again. So he was trying to protect them. And see, when you look at it that way and he explains it to you that way, you're like, oh, Kang's not that bad. He's not that bad. He wants to protect everyone. He doesn't want a multiversal war. It makes complete sense. Sylvie had a completely different perspective. She thinks that he's lying as to why he created the TVA. It's all BS. She just had so much anger inside her and didn't believe him for a single second. And to be perfectly honest, I don't blame Sylvie, because Sylvie does not trust anybody. And this is where it hurt me to see Sylvie and Loki in the same timeline, because Loki's a different character now. They plucked him out of 2012, and then his character development, after seeing so many versions of himself and his true feelings being reflected in the characters around him of Loki in different timelines, he learned so much about himself. There's so much development there. He really dug deep into the person he wants to become versus the person he was. And I love that. And that's what these 6 episodes did for him. They reconstructed the 2012 Loki in a shorter amount of time and gave him feelings. They gave him even more feelings. They made him connect to his emotions a bit more, and try to find the value of friendship and of trusting people and having people around you at a support system who believe in you. And I think that's really important for Loki, who's, if you go back to watching the Thor films, no one really gave a crap about him. No one really believed in him. No one thought that he would ever do good. And except for his mother, except for Frigga. We love Frigga for that reason. But Sylvie, on the other hand, she is blinded by rage, doesn't care what Kang's talking about. And then Kang plants the seed. So good, Jonathan Majors. Fantastic. Kang plants the seed where he says that Sylvie doesn't trust anyone. Sylvie doesn't trust anyone. And then he points it to Loki and says, well, you can't be trusted. And then it goes back and forth as to how trust even works between the two of them if they're the exact same person in different timelines. So Loki ends up believing Kang, because why would someone go out of their way to create an entire organization to hold the timeline together? Like, why would someone do that if they can't foresee the future? And Kang is someone who can see the future. So why would he be lying about that and wanting to protect the sacred timeline? Obviously, it could be beneficial for him in certain ways. There's literally no free will. He can see everything. He can control everything. He keeps everything in line. Loki and Sylvie, they have this little argument of killing Kang, he who remained. We'll say he who remains because he's technically not Kang. They didn't really say his name as the variant in this episode, but we're going to call him Kang because it's Jonathan Majors. It's Jonathan Majors, and we know he's Kang. So Sylvie and Loki have this little spat. They fight, and I love this fight sequence. I wish we saw a bit more of their magic and their fighting technique. And Sylvie keeps trying to kill Kang, and Loki keeps trying to defend Kang. And at one point, Loki literally just says, like, please stop, don't do this, and calms her down. And then she does something that really bothers me. There was no need to do this to Loki, especially after trusting her with everything. Sylvie kisses him. They have this kiss between, the two of them, but it was only to weaken Loki. And I just didn't like what she did. But I understood why she did it. She ends up sending Loki back to the TVA because she still has the TemPad, and then she kills Kang. So Sylvie pulls a Star-Lord, because why not? Why wouldn't you do it? Like, why? Of course you're gonna pull a Star-Lord. What's the point of putting a Kang variant in the finale if you're not gonna freaking cause chaos in other timelines? So she did the thing, and I was upset. I'm like, why would you do this? But you know what this means, guys? You know what this means? This is what's so perfect about it. The Infinity Saga itself took 23 films. It took 23 films to get to that conclusion. And now, if we have Kang this early, we have the variants this early, and we're going into like Spider-Man No Way Home, we're going into Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness, very, very early in this saga. In this next saga, if you want to call it, they're not going to label it if they label it anything, it's going to be the Multiversal War, because that's probably going to be the next Avengers team up name for Avengers 5. I can put my hand on fire. This probably was going to end up happening, but we are starting early. And that's what I love about it, because it's not going to take 23 films to get the big baddie, because the big baddie is Jonathan Majors, is going to be Kang the Conqueror. They set it up like that. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is a bit far out, but it's the fact that like there's no need for setup anymore, because you have these shows that are setting everything up piece by piece, which is awesome, and you're really letting it breathe within the series, and then you connect it to these larger films. So I'm absolutely floored with how they're going to do this. We're going to have Kang, and then we're going to have the Legend of the Ten Rings with Shang-Chi, and then we have the Eternals coming. So they could all be in different timelines. We don't know what timeline they're going to be in, considering what Loki did, and if those branches just affect everything moving forward. So there are so many possibilities. I love this finale so much. It's my favorite out of all of the episodes. Episode 6 was everything. Jonathan Majors, God bless you, sir. I am so excited to see multiple variants of you pop up in post-credit scenes leading up to Quantumania, because I think that'd be great. The other thing that I'm going to say, since I have you guys here with the entire Marvel Universe, I think that Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness, has the potential to be Endgame level or Infinity War level hype. I think it's going to be up there. I think the first time we see a trailer, it's going to be insanity, and variants can pop up anywhere. That means mutants can pop up anywhere at any time. So it's just incredible what they did with Loki. It is essential viewing. Please watch Loki. You don't even have to watch WandaVision. You don't have to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. As much as I love it to death, you see it here, I love it so much, but you don't even have to watch those shows, because Loki has changed the game. Loki has changed the game. The MCU is literally just getting started with the multiverse, and what they have in store for us is going to be incredible. The potential here to have another great saga of films leading up to an Avengers 5 or an Avengers 6, however they're going to structure this. But holy shiznit, it is good to be a Marvel fan right now, guys. This structure, Kevin Feige, thank you so much for this setup, because Loki is just mind-blowing, and I'm very excited for Kang in the future. So now I'm going to go into my rankings of the episodes. I would do episode 6, episode 4, episode 5, episode 2, episode 1, and then episode 3 for my rankings of Loki season 1. The way they ended this episode of Loki going back to the TVA and Mobius and Hunter B-15 not knowing who the hell he was. I beg your pardon? What? You mean Mobius forgot about Loki? What the hell happened? Now, by killing Kang in that timeline, what does that affect exactly? We don't know. Because if Mobius and Hunter B-15 have no recollection and kind of were rewired, what does that mean for the TVA? What does that mean for Loki in that specific timeline? And how can he get out? Where did Renslayer go? Where does she go? Does she go to the actual Kang the Conqueror? Will we see Mbatha-raw in Doctor Strange? We don't know where she went either. So there's so many questions. But this ending we find out in the post-credit scene or credit scene, wherever, the end of the first credits, we're getting a season 2. We're getting a season 2 of Loki, and I could not be happier. Freaking Tom Hiddleston deserves it. Tom Hiddleston is also going to be in Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness. So I can't wait until Doctor Strange, Wanda, and freaking Loki are in the exact same room, and Steven's like, what in God's name did you kids do? What did you guys do? You ruined everything. And I just need that conversation. I just need Doctor Strange to like look at both of them like, do you know what you did? Do you know what you did? Because I know what you did. And then we're gonna get chaos, and I'm so excited. So if you guys enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe. Let me know if Loki is your favorite MCU show right now, because it definitely is for me. You guys can always find me over at AMXNDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Oh, it's good to be in the MCU. It really is. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep watching movies.